Alright guys, I didn't get the video out last night, in part because I was really conflicted about the game, and in part I didn't know what I was going to do. So this is going to be a combination. This is going to be a Sixers recap of the Knicks game, but also I think I'm going to do sort of a pre-game live with the Milwaukee Bucks to kind of tie a couple of topics together. Steph Curry, we'll start off with the positive first, and I know everyone's like, you're starting off with Steph Curry, what about Tobias? I know Tobias went ham! Not only offensively, but defensively, like Donovan pointed out, Tobias has become more and more of a two-way player in the NBA, and if you're an elite two-way player, that is what puts you in that he's going to be an all-star next year. There are coaches, believe me, who are kicking themselves because one of the main forwards, Julius Randle. You play a Julius Randle, you beat a Julius Randle quite convincingly at that. And you know, it is the back-to-back, etc. But I feel like in the same settings, in the same circumstances, if they played each other, Tobias Harris would also get the upper hand on the Julius Randle. You know, he just seems locked in defensively. He's making good shots. And they're both becoming playmaking forwards. You can honestly say they're identical, and their statistics were identical, but the difference, coach, is that the Sixers were the top and are the top seed in the Eastern Conference. You don't need more of the New York media, by the way, if that was the part, oh, it's a third Philly player, but if we get in Julius Randle, we'll get Knicks fans turning in. Believe me, they would have turned in regardless. So that's my little thought on that. Tobias Harris owned the matchup. Tobias Harris is the GOAT. Tobias Harris is the one while Embiid is out. Clutch Tobias. This guy's a hell of a player. But the reason I wanted to start off, well, no, I didn't start off. But the reason I wanted to mention Steph Curry is like, are we going to get the Steph Curry before he got the virus back? Are we going to get this guy? Because remember, the first 12 games of the season, this dude was out here looking like he was going to go to the All-Star game. Like, seriously, those first 12 games, could you name me a better shooting guard, emphasis on the word shooting guard, than Steph Curry? Steph Curry. What the hell, they're both the same at this point, right? Could you name me a better shooting guard? This guy's coming out here shooting the free ball. He's letting it rip. He's more of an off-ball shooter than his brother. His brother can shoot off-ball, does shoot off-ball, but he also can pull up as a pull-up jump shooter. But with Seth, you much rather him more be this off-ball threat than handling the ball. Because when he handles the ball, it's hit and miss with his ball handling ability as a guard. Some nights he looks decent, other nights he's not really getting it done at that position. So I don't even want to call this guy a combo guard. He's just an undersized shooting guard, and it works. It works when the whole team is healthy, and if you get to Steph Curry while Joel Embiid is out, that's big. And that's why I want to start with that. Steph Curry is being big for the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's the positive. Let's go into the negative. The reason you trailed for most of that game. It worked against the Spurs, and even then, it was a slow little trickle effect where you had to gradually get points. The Spurs were hanging in there until you basically hit a bunch of threes. I do not like the way the offense is being played right now. You know, and Doc Rivers talked about it post-game. I do not like the offense. There would have been times earlier this year where we would not give up on our commitment to the post. We would not give up our physicality on the interior. What I noticed when Ben came back, you know, just to put that out there, you know, because I'll be honest, on Twitter, Ben Detrick beat me to it, and I after that last game, I can't deny it. Ben Simmons cannot play with an actual center. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, it's a problem. It's a problem that this dude can't beat an entry pass. Like, what? It frustrates me. How is it that this senator goes from, he's shoving a hook, he's hustling, he's getting early post position, and he still is, by the way, literally second, sometimes even first big man down the court. And he does get deep position, and it's like nothing. And it's like, why bother? For young players, if you don't even get a touch, at this point he's thinking to himself, why am I bothering? Like, what's the point? And you don't want a young player to ever get that mindset. This was a problem even early in the process, where Joel Embiid was getting those deep posts and they weren't giving him the ball, and Joel was like, you know what, fuck it. And that's what started the camp out to the 3-point line early on. Play the damn post! Seriously! It got so bad. There was an early ducking by Dwight Howard in the third quarter. All Tobias had to do was pass the ball, and Dwight Howard had a layup or a foul or something. And it was an easy to spot advantage. And it wasn't like the Knicks player was denying him the pass. He just didn't pass it. What the hell has happened? Yes, we're without Joel Embiid, but that doesn't mean you don't have options. You have options. You have options in the post. The kid is decent at post basketball. No one is saying he's the Keep Olajuwon. He gets the job done. And for him to only have one shot attempt, or in the game against the San Antonio Spurs, it was 8. He made 4 of them, a lot of them dump-ins. Like, what is this? What is this, Doc? What is this change in offensive identity? So, you were getting into post. What you were doing is you were running this screen, and we do run this screen cut offense, but we are running it to such an extreme in these last 2 games that what the Knicks were doing, they were like, haha, okay, so we can ignore the interior. And all of them are basically face guarding you up top. Because it's not like you're going to throw it in. Why bother playing any semblance of post defense? Why even worry about the post if you're not going to throw it into the post? So the Knicks already knew, let's just guard this team face up. There's no need to double team. There's no need for, and the double teams are what lead to the open shooters. Double teams are created. They're not just there. Throw the ball in the block. And that's what happened in the comeback. You started throwing the ball to Tobias Harris into the block. It could be anyone. Throw it to Ben Simmons in the block. I really don't care. But this jump, stop, pass, attack, I'm over it. It doesn't work. And you're neutralizing your center. If you want to run this screen cut offense, start B-ball Paul. Start a guy who can pop on the screen. If that's all you want to do with your 5. If the only thing you want from your center is the screen and roll or screen and pop, start B-ball Paul or start Mike Scott. One or the other. Because this screen roll offense with a traditional big man, where you're not going to get any interior passes, just means that the center position is de facto useless. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But you can't grade a player negatively and call a player negative on one field goal attempt. And only 1 turnover, surprisingly. Only 1 turnover and only 1 field goal attempt. I can't grade that. I cannot tell you, ooh, this player is bad or not. Because he's getting no involvement. What do you want me to say about a player in that situation? Play better. Play through the damn post. Like you've been doing for most of the season. Yeah, with the league MVP, but my God. You don't just tear up your entire playbook. Oh, he's out. Let's not attack the post again. And that's going to be the key to the game against Milwaukee. No, not necessarily to post up Giannis. Post up a Brook Lopez. Because guess what? None of your bigs can guard the guy. Like, we all know Giannis, but it's going to be the Bucks role players and their substars, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Brook Lopez. You want to try and take one, ideally two of them out of the ball game in order to beat the Bucks. So here's a very noble concept. Brook Lopez can't guard the post. Never could. Get Brook Lopez in a pick-and-roll situation. Have somebody there attack Brook Lopez. I don't care. Have Ben Simmons attack Brook Lopez. Get your shoulders downhill and get yourself to the damn FIFA line. Stop playing cute with the jump shot. It's great when it goes in. But when it's not going in, like it wasn't going in really against the Knicks, what you have is you basically took 8 more shots to hit 3 more 3-pointers than the Knicks did. That's what happened when you have bad 3-point shooting nights. It's just ridiculous. Put the ball in the post. That's all I'm saying. Put the ball in the post so you can put the ball in the basket. That's what won you the game with Tobias Harris. I'm telling you, it could have been a lot easier if you got some post-ups for your 6'10" center with a 7'5" wingspan. Like, what is he in for if not for a little offensive contribution? But to contribute, you need to actually pass this guy the ball. Like, and yeah, and the issue is that Ben is not a traditional one. Never had been. That issue is what it is. You know, I'm kind of over it. But it's really a long-term picture. Not just the fact that Ben can't play with a traditional 5, be it Howard or Bradley. The issue is this. What the Sixers need from now on, in terms of quote-unquote Embiid insurance, you're going to need to draft big men who shoot the free ball. Because this guy can't throw it into the post. He can't throw it into the interior. He can't work with a pick-and-roll. It's not like Chris Paul played with Tyson Chandler in the New Orleans Hornet days early on. Tyson Chandler was no offensive threat. But that pick-and-roll sure was a threat. I mean, Ben is a great facilitator in the breakneck fast speed. I get it. But it means that you can't play traditional 5 men. You can't play traditional 5s with Ben Simmons. It's just unfortunate. Joel Embiid's great blessing is that he could shoot the ball. Because Joel Embiid could shoot the free ball, he could coexist with Ben Simmons. Because he could shoot mid-rangers, he could coexist with Ben Simmons. Basically, Ben Simmons can only pass to and play off of face-up players. If a player is to the back of the basket, shoulder to the basket, yeah, it never would have worked even if Jahlil Okafor ever panned out. That's basically the message. And it's frustrating. Because that basically excludes 2/3 of NBA big men by default. It just is what it is from a roster standpoint. Basically, if I were Daryl Morey, Thomas Bryant on the Washington Wizards. He's a 6'10" big man that can shoot the free ball. Hey, Washington, what do you need for Thomas Bryant? That would be a damn good starting center for us right now. I would love to do what it takes to get Thomas Bryant. Give me a Thomas Bryant. Give me a guy who shoots and pops. If you want to play this way. If you want to play the way you played the last 2 games from an offensive scheme standpoint, go get yourself a face-up big man. So that way you can continue to have the center position involved. And that's just going to be the key to you upsetting the Bucks. If you want to upset the Bucks, you're going to have to upset the apple cart and throw the ball in the block. Other than that, little factor, Matisse Thybulle played a great defensive game again. Or actually, Doc Rivers said something that was kind of inspirational and something to look forward to. Doc Rivers said, and I quote, That was a great defensive game for an average player, but it was an average defensive game for a great defender. And that he expects more out of Matisse. Now I'm here looking and I'm seeing he got another multiple block game. And Doc Rivers is calling that an average defensive game. I want to see what greatness looks like too. Doc, because I thought he was pretty great. I thought he was pretty great defensively, Doc. You held the Knicks to 96 points. They were already the 23rd scoring team, but you held them 5 points below their average. I thought your team defense was great. I thought it was between Tobias Harris post up finally in the fourth quarter when you needed to actually get buckets. You went into the block. So finally, thank you for that. Just do that over 48 minutes and you'll find that it will become a little bit more easier for you to score against high-quality defenses. So that was one part of the reason you won, a big part of the reason. The other big part of the reason is that your defense, from Ben to Toby to Matisse, you lock down defensively. And when you lock down defensively, even if you have the worst offensive game plan ever, you can still win. And we're going to need that same energy defensively tonight. We're going to need that same energy to upset the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to need that same energy on the defensive end. It's kind of the class of the Titans. 2 top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference. 2 teams with massive winning streaks. 2 teams that are feeling themselves. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a heck of a ball game. And if we win this ball game, the national media narrative will finally shift a little. Because the last quality opponent that Brooklyn has faced is the Phoenix Suns in that 28-point comeback. That's the last quality opponent that the Brooklyn Nets have played. So yeah, of course they're winning. They're playing these teams that have shitty records. And while it's true that we're at home, if we play the Bucks without Joel Embiid, and if we squeak out a win, I don't care if it's by a free throw, I don't care if it's by 5 or whatever. If you end up scoring more points than the Bucks, and the clock is 0-0-0, the national media, the Stephen A. Smiths, Max Kellerman, etc., they're going to start to finally shift the conversation from let's stop slobbering over the Brooklyn Nets and let's look at the fact that there is a team that's actually number 1 in the conference. Because it's kind of ridiculous. Like even Rachel Nichols said it, they were first throughout the majority of the season, which we are. Why is it that people are still slobbering over the Brooklyn Nets? And they'll tell you, oh, KD, Kyrie, and Harden, as though Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris are talented players in their own right. What do you think the Eastern Conference Finals is? We are damn legitimate to win a championship, and we should be talking more like it. Instead of this slobbering over the Brooklyn Nets, because other than, they've only played really 2 teams in this stretch. 2 is stretching it, by the way, because the Lakers were without Anthony Davis. They beat Cream Puffs, they played Cream Puffs. And hey, that's taking nothing away from us, because we play Cream Puffs, and we beat Cream Puffs. But, in this vaunted schedule without your own beat, you play the Spurs, you blow the Spurs out. You squeak out a game that, honestly, you probably shouldn't have in the New York Knicks. You beat this Bucks team. And the narrative is going to shift. It's going to shift away from KD, Kyrie, Harden, they're all going to lose. They're all going to be 4-0 in the playoffs. There's no reason to play the playoffs ever. From, wait a minute, this is going to be a good Eastern Conference Finals. At least put us in the same stratosphere if we're winning the same amount of games and we're the number 1 seed in the East. Damn straight Philly has a chip on his shoulder. I actually think that's why Philly and Utah is a great rivalry, because we were both sitting with a chip on our shoulder. Stop disrespecting us as though we don't exist. That, yeah, Brooklyn's going to run away with it. Because they are the only talented players in the NBA. Ooh, they signed a washed-up 33-year-old backup big man who doesn't provide what they need interior defense in the post. Ooh, what a scary sight. It's ridiculous. Beat this Bucks team. And I'm not saying that it's guaranteed, but if you're able to do it, I mean, it's still legitimate in our hearts, but if you beat the Bucks, maybe, just maybe, just maybe there's a little less slobbering over the Brooklyn Nets. So I ask, a little less slobbering over the Nets and saying the number one seed in the East is a legitimate threat. The only national media head who believes that is Kendrick Perkins. I want these others to say, you know what? The Sixers are at the next talent level. The Sixers could win that series. And if we beat the Bucks tonight, that conversation will finally start to be had. And those players deserve it. So this was the recap of the Knicks and the pregame live of the Bucks. My kind of three keys of the game: continue to compete on the boards. Don't let the Bucks get second chances. And I'm not saying don't run. Go run out and run. But the first key is put the ball in the paint. Even if it's not Tony, you still got Ben and Tobias. Do that more often. Enter the ball through the post, and then it swings out to the outside. And very rarely, and especially in the case of Ben, controversially, it will never go from out to in. So go in to out. Dominate the paint, establish yourself in the paint, give Brook Lopez the foul trouble so he can get him out of the game and get his floor stretching out of the game, and you might have a chance to win this game. This is Sixers Universe. Let's go Sixers. Let's bring this one home.